What's up, everybody? So here we go. A little bit of a reaction, jumping into a new segment called Into the Lion's Den. So let's get started with this video you see here. NFL Week 4, Bengals-Dolphins. The title, Tua Tagovailoa suffers head and neck injuries, taken to hospital. Team says Tua flew back to Miami. Let's see what Greenberg and Schefter has to say. Schefter, if you can see, paused. Looks like he's praying right now.
Here, of course, is Adam Schefter, our NFL insider. Schefter, what are the most important pieces of this that you wake up to this morning?
Well, I think there are a few important points here to make, Greeny. And I think everybody is talking about the fact that Tua Tagovailoa allegedly suffered a concussion on Sunday and the opinions of people. But let's be very clear about this. The Miami Dolphins on Sunday initially announced that Tua suffered a head injury and then
see Tua there holding his helmet.
That he had suffered.
Hands above his head. The
whole issue here is in the concussion protocols, and that is a phrase called gross motor instability, which you're seeing on the screen, I think, in my opinion, right there. Gross motor instability.
Gross motor instability. It's a still shot of him sitting like this, like he's taking off his helmet. Get the hell out of here with that crap.
Now, in this particular case, Tua Tagovailoa was taken to the locker room. He was examined by the Dolphins doctor and by an unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant that was appointed by the NFL and the NFL Players Association, jointly agreed to. Those two individuals allowed Tua to go back into the game on Sunday. But, again, according to the concussion protocols, if you are demonstrating those gross motor instability skills at that moment, you should not be allowed.
Yeah, but your opinion doesn't matter, Shefty.
The protocols.
The two doctors said he was good to go. Shut your face. Listen, you guys watching this, the picture is a still shot of Tua with his hands over his head like this. You don't know if he's locked up or not. Now, we've all seen somebody get crushed and their body tense and freeze up and spasm. Obviously, there's a problem. But you're showing a still shot saying, oh, to me, that looks like gross motor. Shut up, dude.
Spine injuries. So the Dolphins have been adamant that he didn't suffer a concussion and that it was a back injury. Well, if we're going to use that then you could say that the spine is a part of the back. And under the concussion protocols, once again, he should not have been allowed to re-enter the game on Sunday. He was listed all week long as questionable. I've spoken to teams that have called me since this injury occurred that said that their training staffs would not have allowed Tua to play.
Shut the hell up. Yes, they would have. It's an undefeated season you got going so far.
Now, he did play, and every team has a different medical staff and different standards. But again, I come back to gross motor instability. It's the phrase that's in the protocols.
We get it, dude. You learned a new phrase.
People have said he has a concussion. The Dolphins said he didn't have a concussion. We don't know whether he did or he didn't. What we do know is that when he walked off that field on Sunday, something did not look right. Something was wrong. And Tua was allowed to re-enter the game after being cleared by the doctors, leading up to the circumstances last night that left everybody with a deep, disturbed feeling about how the system had failed.
Don't give me that crap that, oh, the league failed. It was clearly a problem. No, dude. You think you saw something. Two professionals, doctor said, nah, you're good. He passed the test. He went back in. The doctor has to clear him. If this guy says you're good and the unaffiliated guy with no skin in the game says you're good, are we not supposed to believe the doctors? Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Let's jump into our new segment here, Into the Lion's Den. So, real quick here, I'm sitting around, thinking of something new to talk about. I got to get something out about football, Tua, Buffalo, all this stuff. Watching my YouTube video of the Bills game from the Miami Bills game I put out. Billy's Bills broadcast, YouTube Rumble, watch it. And, so I'm itching today. It's Friday. We don't have anything released on Friday. We recorded this morning. I'm working on a couple other things. And I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I come across the New York Times, and it says, Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins quarterback, was taken off the field on a stretcher during a game after he was thrown to the ground and hit his head on the turf. It was a second head injury in less than a week. So, into the Lions Den we go. We're gonna read comments from liberal people, not necessarily football fans, just the elitist liberal who thinks they know better than everybody else. So, if you haven't heard the show of any of our shows, Neighborly Discourse, Billy Reacts, Fire Up the Mics, Conspiracy Corner, I am you are an adult, you make your decisions person, okay? That's who I am. And reading this, so Tua last week against Buffalo was told to have a back injury. And Steve and I talked about it. I remember the play where he got hit, folded up, and he was hurt. But the play they showed on the highlights from last week was a very different play than what I remember him being injured on. He got chucked and they hit his head, or fell back and, snapped his head back, which happens often in a game where the goal is to get the other person on the ground. So he gets hurt last night, Thursday Night Football. I didn't see the play, but I saw the replay and he got swung around down. Now, technically, that's a dangerous play because you have X amount of hundreds of pounds of almost pure muscle, two guys spinning with momentum. You slam someone down, that could potentially be a problem for sure. But here's the thing. Tua makes X amounts of millions of dollars. The defenders make X amounts of millions of dollars. These people, professional athletes, knowing the risk of playing football, are very well compensated and, most importantly, make their own decision to do so. They can retire at any time. They cannot play football throughout their life with the aspirations of making it to the NFL. No one forces them to do any of this, okay? And before you guys, their parents might have forced them as kids. We're talking college and adults, okay? You can back out at any time. You have the NFL concussion protocol. Last week, the Dolphins say Tua back injury. He came back out and he played fine. Buffalo won. Miami won. He didn't have any issues. No issues in the practice week. Passed protocols. Concussion protocols. Passed it to get back in the game. Passed it when the game was over. He gets hit gets hit on Thursday, slammed to the ground, taken off in a stretcher. They say another back injury. People saying another head injury. Who's saying what? Are professional football people saying it's a back injury? Is the liberal media and whiny liberal community complaining about a head injury? Those who know nothing about anything? What's going on? So, into the Lions Den we go. Again, new segment alert. We're going to read the top top comments on this New York Times article on Facebook. So my comment 3 hours ago, 0 likes, 0 attention, nobody cares. He got hit playing a game where you get hit. Some hits are worse than others. If he had a concussion last week and Miami covered it up, that's a huge problem. But these guys know the risk. It's their decision to play. Hope he's okay. All true statements from me. Looks like here, top comment, 485 likes and acknowledgments of thumbs up and tear emojis, okay? From a lady, I assume a lady named Aubrey. Absolutely horrific to watch, especially zoomed in repeatedly. I feel for his family watching. His posturing post-fall. I'm going to bring it up so I can read it here. His posturing post-fall says a lot medically. Poor guy. Should have never been cleared to play after being concussed days prior. So much lying and corruption to get these guys back in the field. Pray for Tua with the praying hands emoji. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh like a jerk. But these are professional football players. Yes, you get hit. Yes, you get a concussion. Ask any one of them. Do they prefer a hit to the head or a hit to the knees? They prefer the head because that's potential long-term damage. A hit to the knees is career-ending right then and there. So keep your liberal elitism out of football. Next comment. 174 thumbs up. From Naisha, assume another woman. He should have never been cleared to play after having concussion 4 days earlier. It takes longer than 4 days to get cleared from the concussion. Shame on the NFL. Shame on the NFL doctors. Again, 174 likes. Here's one from Bob. 472 thumbs up. The Dolphins and the NFL need to be held accountable for completely disregarding his health last Sunday. He should have been in concussion protocol for 4 days ago and would have most likely missed the game. The second injury is far more likely to have long-term effects. Someone needs to be fired and face an expensive lawsuit. Okay? These people who aren't doctors, who aren't professional athletes or professional anything, these people are the ones weighing in, influencing the NFL with their bullshit calls and their nonsense rules. These are the people who don't even watch football. The NFL alienates its audience. Now, again, nobody wants to see somebody get injured on a dirty play. But getting hurt on a clean play, you're playing football. Your job is to get hit. The other one guy's job is to hit and tackle and bring down. The other guy's job is to escape it. If you're better at one than the other, you have points or you get sacks. 258 comments or likes. 70 replies. I wonder what this person said. From Stacy, a woman. This sport just has to go. Much more dangerous than it used to be. Too much money and greed to be had at the expense of humans hurting themselves for the rest of their lives. Again, keep in mind, this is their choice. You don't have to watch. You don't have to support. Let's see, this person, let me find this again. They had 70 replies. Somebody replied, Stacy, these men play this sport willingly and make millions and millions of dollars that will change their lives in multiple generations after that. And while the game still has its risks, it's actually 10 times safer than it used to be. 30 likes from this guy and thumbs up. All you need is a little perspective. Now that comment had 14 comments. I'm not going down the rabbit hole. I'm reading the elitist thoughts of the liberal. I know some of you saying, well, read both sides. I am the other side. The other side is simple. No one forces them to play football. No one wants dirty play. Nobody wants anyone to get injured. But all of this is part of the NFL, including dirty plays, which should rightfully be flagged and players fined. That wasn't last night. 82 comments from Sean. All part of why I stopped watching the NFL the last 4 years. Horrific. Thursday night football is practically criminal and should not exist. 3 days is not enough time for guys' bodies to heal. Now, criminal, horrific. This guy makes a valid point with his over-the-top dramatization of football. If you play a game on Sunday and you got a recovery time in the play on a Thursday, that's short. Everybody agrees with that. Historically, Thursday football has been bad football. One team is rested more than the other, and it's clear by that lopsided scores. Now, I will say, if you play, like the guys who play Thursday should come off a bye week. So have Thursday football starting when bye weeks happen. You have a bye week on week 7, week 8 you play Thursday night. Give some time. It is a short recovery period, no doubt about it. That I agree with. I don't like the dramatization of his comments, though. From Barbara, 63 thumbs up. Disgraceful he was even allowed to play after a head slam he suffered in Sunday's game and unable to walk straight after he fortunately got up from that one. Now this, prayer hands. Hold these greedy managers, owners, medical staffs accountable. This is someone's life that is more precious than any game. Okay, so those of you who don't know how football works, in the beginning of the season, you have a baseline test. It is very well documented from NFL players and staffs themselves. The players know how to look concussed or have a lower initial test.
Check it out, guys. New driver's license. What's wrong with your picture? Well, see, I got drunk and then got my picture taken, so that way when I get pulled over for drunk driving, I look the same as on my license. You know, and then the cop will say, oh, you're fine. You're not drunk. This is you normal. I can tell by the picture.
So the bar is already set low. So when you get hit hard in the game and you go to that baseline test, knowing you have the concussion, the NFL player knows his head got scrambled, but he purposely set the bar low in the preseason when they took that baseline test so he can be cleared to go back in. Now, you can't challenge them to do a better test because that's discrimination. What if the guy really has a brain issue and you're signaling him out? You're not allowed to do that. So these guys purposefully take a lower initial test. So when they get their brain scrambled, they can look like they passed and go back in the game. They're the ones who set themselves up for it. They understand the long-term risk. It's long-term. Any one of them will say, take my head, not my knees. Knees end careers today. Heads potentially end careers down the road or issues down the road. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. They've said this. Let me see here. 29 comments. Prayers for two. This young man should have never been on the field. From Sally. 51 thumbs up from this guy, Patrick. The comparisons between this sport and the Roman amphitheater are often being talked about. Unfortunately, they're still sacrificing brains and bodies on the field, but it's so ingrained in the American persona that people don't see it. And everyone knows the name players will get the attention. All right, this is a long, where's the camera here? This is a long post. I'm not reading all of it. Human casualties will cripple for life, physical cripples for life. 50 from Jezebel. Person's name is Jezebel. I like that name. I understand the meaning of it. I still like it. Football is unethical as it is due to chronic encephalitis caused by head injuries of the gridiron. I think it's encephalitis. Never hear a word, but never seen it spelled out. Second head injury in a week and he still played. They're not looking out for him point blank. From Sophia. From Patty. It really looked quite serious the way his hand spasmed, praying for his recovery. All right, here's 199 quote, 199 comments, thumbs up, tears, and angry face emojis. These people mean business, angry face emojis. If you're wondering why he didn't enter NFL's protocol after his first hit and thus allowed to play tonight, it's because the Dolphins lied and said he had a back injury. Even though he took impact to the head and was dazed, he had to stumble to the ground and before walking back to the huddle. Listen. Again, I'm the opposition. Nobody forces these guys to play football. They get generationally wealthy. That money translates off the field to foundations and other ways to make even more money for their families to be set up forever. They will take the hit. They're built differently than you and I. There's a reason these people boo-hoo-hooing on the New York Times Facebook post don't play football. For comparison speaking, most sports, football in particular, you can semi-compare to the armed forces. It's a calling. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody has the mental makeup to enter that lifestyle. It's not about bigger, stronger, and faster. Look at punters. Look at kickers. They're smaller than I am, but they have a mental makeup that gets them on the field where they will make a tackle. They will throw a hit. They will run the ball. They will get crushed, but they'll get right back up. It's a mental difference between regular people and someone like that. Professional athletes, people in the service. You're made differently. They're trying to weaken the NFL. Got women refs that want to get women players. The way you get women players, because even though men and women are equal, as they tell you, any man in the NFL now would murder a woman if she put on pads and he was on the field. She would be destroyed if she got hit full speed because men are bigger, stronger, and faster. They're weakening the NFL to make it available for everybody and pretty much either get women in the sport to slow it down and be boring and ruin it, or get it stopped altogether. The liberals are locusts. They don't know how to stop destroying things or keep their nose where it doesn't belong. Or keep their nose out of other people's business. If I said that wrong, I don't know. That was the Lion's Den. That was a new segment. We'll see if we venture back into it, reading liberal posts, things of that nature. You know, we've been asked to venture to the other side of the line, so to speak. It's hard. This kind of stuff is hard for me to read because at the end of the day, I start my argument here. Anyone who wants to challenge me on this. Is Tua forced to play by anybody, yes or no? Is he making his decisions to play, yes or no? Case in point, last week, Justin Herbert cracked ribs. The staff wanted him to sit out. He's the one who said, I want to play, took the injection so he wouldn't feel anything, and went in. The Chargers organization said, think long term. But he's a professional athlete, built different than you and I. Give me the shot, I'm going in. And he went in. Don't pretend to think you know what these guys do. You don't. Nobody wants them to get hurt. Nobody wants them to get injured. We watch because the product is good. The product is good because these guys are the best at what they do. Stop complaining. Stop boo-hooing over something you can't control. That's the problem. If the Dolphins lied, 100% they should be held accountable. If they didn't, shut your mouth. You know nothing. We hope Tua is okay. We hope all these people are okay. They are doing this for our entertainment, but they're doing it for a very, very good living. Let's not forget that. So that's it. New segment. We'll see what it sounds like, what it looks like. Into the Lion's Den. We're going to jump into liberal publications and see what the opposition are saying. Today it's football. I'm the opposition of the conservative mindset. We read the liberal New York Times and what those people think. And it is a lot of nonsense in my opinion. Hope you guys have a good one.